Yo, what's up guys? A reaction to the last video I posted was from someone to basically I was asked to explain what Taoism was or is, you know. They said it sounded interesting, and then I was like well shoot, yeah, I like talking about this stuff. I'll make a video. What I'm gonna do in this video, like there'll be a bunch of information below that I'll add after I'm done recording it, and I'm gonna record it all in one shot just because there's something else I was gonna say. The scooter threw me off. Well, that's it. Let's jump into it. I'm gonna this video actually is gonna it's definitely gonna be a lot longer than this talking part, because on the way here I recorded a bunch of clips, and I'm just gonna throw them on at the end so you can ponder what I just told you, or pull a notebook out and just figure out some other things in life, or click on the links below and search and listen to weird water and nature sounds. What kind of popped off me even videoing all this stuff is I saw some butterflies dancing around, and one of the Taoist forefathers, Zhuangzi, I'll put a more accurate quote of what he said, but he basically one day wrote or said that he had a dream that he was a butterfly, and during the dream he wondered if he was, you know, after he woke up he was wondering if he was a butterfly, dreaming he was Zhuangzi, or if he's yeah, it's just whatever. It's something that Taoists run into and know. People who call them Taoists or have studied Taoist stuff. So to answer the question just quickly, concisely, simply, to just get a quick understanding of what Taoism is, as far as using the English word or whatever, it's essentially anything. At the most basic, it's just the philosophy and ideas that have come out of this book called the Tao Te Ching, written by either a guy named Lao Tzu, some supposed guy, or it was perhaps like a group of people who published it under the name Lao Tzu or something. You know, history isn't totally certain on that one, I don't think. And what actually what made me want to come over here, like I walked by this once, and the reason why I wanted to come over here and shoot the video is I saw this path and I was like, oh, I want to go up there. And then I was like, oh, this is perfect, like a video about Taoism. If you look at that Chinese character right there, that's the character for Dao, actually, which means path or trail. That's the same Dao from Taoism. And there you go. And now, so that's what Taoism is. It's basically the ideas, it's at its core, it's the ideas from the book, the Tao Te Ching, and really it has nothing to do with anything Chinesey, any gods, any customs. You don't need any funny statues, you don't need to dress a certain way. It just happened to be put together by a Chinese guy, but the ideas in Taoism are all encompassing. You can be Catholic and Taoist, you can be a Scientologist and a Taoist, an atheist and a Taoist. It's more of a core of ideas, you know, built around the principles of nature and reality that, you know, one guy started and more people built on. And then over time, religions, like a religious version of Taoism, kind of sprung up with, you know, the various deities from the cultures that it was, you know, it was exposed to in Asia, here in Taiwan. Like a lot of like, I don't know if you can, there's a little temple there. I end up walking and videoing a smaller temple on the way here, but the religions of the area here are kind of an infusion of Taoism and Buddhism and just all this stuff kind of thrown together, which is kind of an accurate reflection of what Taoism is, could be, whatever. I don't know. Now I'm gonna walk on this path and just talk about Taoism some more from the perspective of Casey, and then, like I said, in the links below, I'll do a little research when I get home and hook you up with some links. I'll eventually write a more detailed and well thought out and researched blog post about what Taoism is. But what are some, like, I had some thoughts on the way. This is gonna be I don't want to say it's a bad idea, but it just rained. Like it was thundering earlier. It was crazy. So like I just kind of mentioned, speaking of thunder and reality and craziness, whoa, and falling off of these tires are a bad idea. It's better over here. And falling off of stuff. Like, I think you could look at Taoism as ultimately being the study of change, you know, like just kind of like the study of change and the study of a more concise reality, whatever reality is, you know, kind of seeing things just for what they are, as opposed to all the ideas that have been built up around people's minds. For example, a good example of this is, you know, right here, because of how we've been programmed or whatever, you see a bunch of tires stacked up, and that's interesting. But if you brought someone from somewhere who had never seen a car, didn't know what a tire is, whatever, they would just think these are a really crappy pair of stairs, you know? They wouldn't think, you know, they are pretty crappy. If I end up busting my junk because of these ridiculous stairs. So, so change, reality, a lot of it's the study of nature. I guess, like, I'll just say some Casey Taoist stuff, some things. Let me sit here and compose my thoughts for a second. This is gonna be a really long video. Oh, so here's some things. So, like, we call it Taoism, but the book is called the Dao De Jing, and Jing just means, like, in Chinese, it's just like sacred text. I believe they use Jing in the translation of the Bible. You know, whatever the Bible is called in Chinese, Jing is in there. It's just like a character for sacred text. Dao, like I said before, is like a path or a way or a trail in Chinese, but you know, it represents more than that in Taoism. But a path is a pretty cool and accurate reflection of what it is you're quote unquote studying. Quote unquote, you're definitely studying. But so there's the Tao part, there's the Jing part, but then there's the De, which gets translated as usually virtue. So I mean, really the whoa, what is that? Whoa, crazy spider! You probably can't see it. So I mean, the book, the text is actually two parts. One part is a book on the Tao, and the other part is kind of a book on the De. So there's a Tao section and a De section. So it could have easily, you know, been called Daoism, Duh. But or Taoism if you want to do it with the T. But people probably, well, Tao is the first word in it, in the book, and it's probably more fun thinking about change and stuff instead of virtue. But it's actually, so it's like 80 some really short chapters written in old school classical Chinese, one section being about Tao and the other section being about De. And actually, I like, so in English, when you hear the word virtue, you end up putting a lot of stuff on it. You know what I mean? You think of maybe morals and doing quote unquote good. But as you study Taoism, you'll learn, and even if you don't study Taoism, you can just logically come to these conclusions on your own, that there really is no good and no bad, because good and bad rely on each other to exist, and they're all, you know, concepts created by minds of humans. You know, they're not really, they're not about truth or reality. So, well, here I'll add some sauce that I just picked up from studying Buddhism. or the, you know, how I just recently got into Buddhism, and my meditation teacher said that, because in Buddhism they talk about virtue a lot too, and he said that it's better translated, or the way he likes to call say it is more of a, instead of looking at it like virtue, you look at it like restrictions, maybe. And maybe this is a new idea to me. Maybe it won't translate good into my Taoist brain, but I think that's a nicer way to look at it. So you have basically you have like the path, and then instead of virtue, maybe you'd call it non-movement, movement, and non-movement. Maybe that. And you know what's interesting? I had an interesting thought on the way here while I was on the path to here. But you know what? Like nothing actually ever stops. Spider webs everywhere. Nothing ever stops moving. You know what I'm saying? Like I know from our vantage point, if you put your glass on the table, an empty glass, like it's just sitting there, whoa, not moving. But if you you know, science today, we know that it's made of a jumble of all. There's probably a spider on me somewhere. It was huge. It was right in my face. I got spider web in my mouth. Okay. Half of the reason why I wanted to record this video going up this trail is because I knew just random shit would happen that I wouldn't be expecting. And that's a good example of what you're studying when you're studying Taoism or just life or whatever. You don't have to call it Taoism. Like from a Taoist, from someone who would, well, from this Taoist anyway, when he's calling himself a Taoist, he would say everybody's a Taoist. Really, it's all encompassing, whatever, you know what I'm saying. Everything kind of falls in under Taoism, but that doesn't make everything Taoist. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's a Taoist, you know. Everybody's just walking their own way, doing their thing, and trying to figure shit out. Taoism is kind of the intimate study of that. Like, I think that spider's on me. Damn it. I haven't read, what was it, Thoreau and Walden Pond? Is that book? But from the quotes I run into it and just the idea, when I hear him, I think, that shit sounds rather Taoist. Tim Ferriss is always talking about stoicism or being stoic, and that, so I think that's from some Greeks or whatever. And those motherfuckers seem to study, you know, like these same ideas are prevalent all over. You know, you'll find Taoist ideas in the Bible and all over the place. But like as soon as people start putting too much of their own sauce on it, and then these ideas become fixed and not flexible and stuff, then they start to lose the essence of you know, the path to reality or whatever. Oh, anyhow, so, well, I was talking about, like, you put a cup on the tip. I don't like spiders. I'm gonna have to spend some time in nature just getting comfortable with spider webs and creepy crawlies walking on me, like one day. Anyway, the oh, you know, cup on the table, like we know with science that like all the little, what we're built of, or what the little molecules and, you know, all that, electrons and whatever, those things are fucking always moving, right? They never stop. So nothing ever stops moving, right? And if nothing stops moving, that means nothing is ever moving too, kinda, if you think about it. Right? If everything is in a constant state of motion, there's no real, you know, there is no stopping. And if there's no stopping, there's really no motion to quantify it, the stopping too. So, you know, but you know, everything we do is kind of in terms of, you know, measuring something against something else. And then, like I oftentimes talk about, Taoism lies in paradox, because, you know, the more things you investigate, kind of like I was saying earlier, like there's no good without bad. You know, what is tall? Unless you have something that you've labeled as short. But these are all, you know, it's all from perspectives, you know. So us being human, you know, the tallest human is maybe 9 feet or something. The shortest human is, I don't know, 3 feet or something. So from the vantage point of being human, you might call, all humans might call buildings tall, but are buildings really tall, you know? Like, if you were the Taipei 101, then no. That's, you know, the really tall building here. Anyhow, you know, so it's, yeah, I'll just finish the idea. You know, so that's one of the things you know, kind of investigate in Taoism, is this paradox thing. Okay, there are a couple more ideas I wanted to throw at you, and then I'll be done talking about Taoism. The other idea I wanted to talk about is, so, oh man, I'm sweating. Oh, look at that. Got a view and shit. I wasn't expecting that. That's nice. But dude, the crazy thing about Taiwan is that you can, I mean, where I walked from was just mad city and scooters, you know, and then in just a couple minutes you're looking at mountains and listening to weird birds and stuff. Oh, the other thing I want to say about Taoism, you know, if you start to get into it, and you don't have to get into religious Taoism with gods and all that, just studying the philosophy. And the philosophy isn't, you know, I'm just gonna say, it's not like special to Taoism. What's special about Taoism and labeling something Taoist is that it pretty much focuses on you know, a certain, you know, natural reality, and the kind of the paradox between that exists in the fact that all language and everything we talk about and say and think and do is based off of comparison. And it's really comparison from this human vantage point that isn't, you know, our how we see and perceive reality isn't what reality is. You know, I'm not saying that this is all an illusion and this isn't a rock, you know, like physical reality is real, but it's our perception of it that isn't real. And, you know, Taoism kind of focuses on stripping away your layers, and, you know, it puts you in a you know, a comfortable position. Like if I talk about what I was talking about in that other video, I'm gonna forget the point I was gonna make. Okay, no, I won't. But if I talk about what I was talking about in the other video, and that it's kind of a nice thing to study just for getting through, you know, walking through life and doing stuff, it's because you know, you don't have to become a lazy or anything and be like, oh, nothing, fuck money and material things. Like, you don't have to be like that. But when things get shitty, or, you know, whatever, you know, like, or just crazy things happen to you or on the news or whatever, you don't have to laugh at it. You know, sometimes that's inappropriate depending on who you're with, but you can laugh at a lot of things, because, you know, it's really just, you know, all that's happening in the world is just, you know, just stuff moving around. You know, we're all just energy from the sun. Like, this is all that ever happens. Like, nothing's happening. You know, it's just you know, trying to hook up your, anyway. So it's kind of exercising that awareness and, man, exercising that awareness and embedding it deeply into your deeply into your bones. All right, there's mad spider webs over here. Get rid of them. Get away from that. This video is gonna be long. Well, here, so you're just, you know, over time you're trying to more deeply embed, you know, if you read the Tao Te Ching or other Taoist stuff, you know, you're just trying to absorb, you know, the insight from those books, and so they're just become, so they are you, you know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what anybody's trying to do with a lot of different religions and things. But like, I think with Taoism as with Buddhism, what you're moving towards is an elimination of self. Speaking of self, myself is freaking out with all these spider webs. But yeah, you're moving towards I don't know if I'd call it a completely objective view and awareness of the world, but you know, a more objective one, you know. So you're moving towards like the elimination of self, but that doesn't mean you're gonna like disappear or something, or your body isn't gonna be around, or you don't talk anymore. So okay, that's the end of that point. The other point I was gonna make is actually I think I only have 30 minutes left on here because I didn't delete that other stuff. Whew. I'm gonna get lost in the mountains. Oh, the other point I wanted to make is that you know, so it was written in this classical Chinese, which Chinese people can't, to be honest with you, can't read and fully understand. So they're like, when you start reading a translation of the Tao Te Ching in English, if you decide to, don't get too caught up in like, oh, I want the most authentic translation. There are translations that are more and less subjective than others, but in the grand scheme of things, any translation you read is subjective based on you, the subjectivity you're bringing into it. Like, you know, so even if you're reading, even if you were around at the time when Lao Tzu wrote it and you were a part of his crew or whatever, assuming there was a Lao Tzu to write it, and if you were around at that time and you spoke that type of Chinese and you understood the culture and you understood all the nuances of the text based on the historical ramifications of what was going on with the emperors and warring states and all that, even if you had all that, you know, so you were the most baller, even if you could read at that time, because that would have been a time when reading was, you know, was a luxury saved for, you know, yeah, you know, literacy wasn't a big thing. So even if you could read at that time, you were from that time and all this stuff, you still would not be able to absorb exactly what it is that Lao Tzu says, because, or wrote or whatever, because it's, I mean, that's just impossible. Just with communication, you know, even if I watch this video again later, I don't know what the hell I was thinking, you know, when I was walking and talking and saying all this. All I'm hearing is words coming out of the mouth of a fucking sack of meat and bones. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, my point is there's a lot of translations. Some translations are way more subjective than others. Some try to like keep it more, you know, the more artistically accurate version of it. Some try to express what they think Lao Tzu was thinking. Some try to express what they, anyway, yeah, just keep reading. Dude, this seems like bad news. Just keep reading different translations and discuss it, you know, online with yourself, with other people. I mean, that's all you can really do. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. And I felt like I had one more thing I was gonna say about Taoism. Oh yeah, this is what I was gonna say. I don't know if this was the thing, but this is another good point. I'll make this last point and then end this video. But like, so Lao Tzu came out, right? He came around, and then all the, you know, we have religious Taoism and gods and all this stuff, and you know, back in the day there were more organized, I think, Taoist crews, and there still are here in Taiwan or in Asia or whatever, but a lot of them have a lot of weird religious stuff around them. But the point I was going to make is that it's basically, the point I was making at the beginning, it's basically just that that text is the foundation of Taoism, and then it just is really, you know, you studying. I don't know what I was gonna say. I'm just gonna peace out. Essentially, you're just studying the nature of reality and trying to, you know, get a deep, intimate grasp of that. But in order to like take it, you know, to the heights, the highest heights, while Taoism has, like the text has lots of good things for you to, for your mind to chew on and think about. There isn't a lot of exercises and practices to do, and really in life you don't need any exercises and practices. You just breathe and eat and move and live. But you know, if you want to advance in terms of you know, the elimination of desires and the elimination of self and all this, you're not going to be able to think yourself there. And so what I was saying is, I think back in the day, the crews that rolled with Lao Tzu, or the groups and orgs, I think they had various training methods, you know, meditations and exercises, study of martial arts for discipline or whatever. You know what I'm saying? But that kind of school that school and lineage and organization doesn't really exist anymore. So, and if you think about it from a Taoist vantage point, it never really did. But so, you know, if you want to go farther in your Taoist studies, not that I recommend, it's not the right way to say it. Well, yeah, like this is why I've picked up on Buddhism. I was essentially going to talk about, there's this branch of Taoism called complete reality, and it was kind of a mix of Buddhism and Taoism, and they say Confucianism, but really I think it was just them, a crew of guys who were putting together all the you know, everything they needed to get to where, you know, what Buddhists call nirvana, or the Buddhist state, or Taoists call immortality. And it's like my back, you know, back in the day when I was reading about Taoist immortality and stuff, I got caught up with thinking I'd be able to like you know, woo! I can't walk down a mountain, and thinking I could be able to dance on clouds. All this. Dude, this shut me down. Anyway, I was gonna say, it's really just about, you know, mastering the art of life. Yeah, I'll leave it there. It's about mastering the art of life. If you want to keep watching some random stuff that I recorded on the walk to the path here, it's gonna come up right after this. If you look below, there'll be a bunch of like, I wrote a blog post before, and I'll put the video that started this video on there and all that. And then I'll write another blog post, which will be a lot more concise. It won't take you 30 minutes to read, most likely. And yeah, if you just look at all the information below, I'll link you to a bunch of stuff and get you all started. And if you want to see the what is Taoism, the blog post, when I do that, just I mean, the best way would be to follow. I don't tweet anything anymore. Like, maybe I might start again, but you can follow on Twitter, or the easiest thing would just be going to the blog and putting, you know, signing up to the email thing there. And all I'm blogging about now is happiness, enlightenment, and martial arts. And this post will probably be coming up. So if you don't see it in the link below, sign up and then you'll get it really soon. If you see it in the link below and you don't want to sign up, then you can just fucking click that link. So there you go. Enjoy these random images. I hope you enjoyed my rambling about Taoism, and happy path wandering for you. Peace out.